Okay, so I just want to do a quick video on the whole Owell Farrell situation. So unless you've been living under a rock, you know about, what happened with this. Owell Farrell initially gets a yellow card against Wales for a high hit on Tane Basham. We have the bunker review, whatever, 8 minutes later, it's upgraded to a red card. Pretty much everyone other than Trolls agrees that it is actually a red card. And for once, it seems like, there's very little argument against the fact that it's definitely a red, which is very rare in rugby. Generally, you get, a staunch kind of 25% of any nations or teams fans who would not see anything as a red card for their own player. So it looks like everybody's agreed on that. Then yesterday we had the disciplinary hearing, and then they came out and said, no, actually, it wasn't a red card. It should have been a yellow. And so that's kind of where we are. So one thing just to point out is that my lip, so I've got a cold sore. I haven't been fighting people about the decision for, what happened or anything like that. Didn't get into any heated discussions about Owell Farrell. And Owell Farrell didn't do this either, just in case rumors start getting around. But yeah, so the hearing result come out, then rugby Twitter absolutely exploded with pretty much everyone agreeing that no, the committee are wrong. The officials on the day actually got the call right. And just hearing now today, like literally just before I start recording this, that World Rugby are actually going to appeal the decision as well. So that's another thing to see what happens there. But let's look first at the actual decision. So it says the player acknowledged that whilst he had committed an act of foul play, he denied that the act was worthy of a red card. After reviewing all the evidence, questioning the player in detail and hearing submissions from the player's representative, the committee concluded that the foul play review officer was wrong on the balance of probabilities to upgrade a yellow card issued to the player to a red card. The committee determined, when applying World Rugby's head contact process, that mitigation should be applied to the high degree of danger found by the foul play review officer. The committee found that a late change in dynamic due to England number 2's interactions, so that's Jamie George, in the contact area brought about a sudden and significant change in direction from the ball carrier. In the committee's opinion, the mitigation was sufficient to bring the player's active foul play below the red card threshold. I do not agree with that. Like, basically, George guided Basham, kind of gave him a little shove into on Farrell, but Farrell was still very upright and very high in his tackle, so I don't agree with that. The committee believe it is important to record that no criticism is made of the foul play review officer, nor would any be warranted. Unlike the foul play review officer, the committee had the luxury of time to deliberate and consider in private the incident and the proper application of the head contact process. The committee believe this is in contrast to the foul play review officer, who was required to make the decision in a matter of minutes without the benefit of all the additional material, including hearing from the player and his legal representative. On that basis, the committee did not uphold the red card, and the player is free to play again immediately. So just on that, this whole thing about the foul play review officer being required to make the decision in a matter of minutes, I still think that they came to the right decision. And I think one of the pertinent points in here is when they say, to say without the benefit of additional material, but then it says including hearing from the player and his legal representative. So basically that tells me that Owell Farrell's lawyer got him off the charge. And the committee, there was some kind of, I'm not going to say it wasn't shenanigans. Obviously, lawyers are, good lawyers are paid to do things like this, whether it's in disciplinary hearings or it's in court. If you can afford to pay for a really good lawyer, they can get you off something that, a normal person can't get off, like who was a Tongan player, right? Just got 10-game ban for a tip tackle, and is going to miss the World Cup. Now, if he had a better lawyer, maybe he would be going to the World Cup as well. So, that's what kind of gets me, is that basically the arguments of the lawyer have changed it from a red card to a yellow card. But, the lawyer is not a professional referee. Like, a professional referee took 8 whole minutes looking at every conceivable angle and would have been aware of Jamie George's actions and still determined that it was a red card. And we've seen before, there was an incident with Scotland as well, right? I think, was that against France or Italy? But basically, who was it? Matt Ferguson kind of pushed the player being tackled into someone else, but he was holding on to him, and then that player got a red card and got a ban following it. So, I really don't agree with this, and it's kind of sad way that maybe the sport is going to go, that a lot of decisions are going to be made by who can afford the best lawyer. And I don't think it's favoritism towards a big union. I think it's favoritism towards, or not favoritism, but it's the fact that a really good lawyer that costs a lot of money can get you a better outcome in whether, as I said, whether it's a court of law or whether it is a disciplinary hearing. And this is 2 decisions that I really haven't agreed with. Recently, Johnny Sexton as well, he got a 3-game ban. I said at the time, I still believe he should have got a much longer ban. I'm an Ireland fan. I'm happy that he didn't get a much longer ban. He's going to be playing in the World Cup. But, in terms of fairness, he should have got another ban, and his career probably should have been ended at the end of that disciplinary hearing. I'm thinking maybe 12-game ban reduced to 9, something like that. And then he probably would have been out of the World Cup unless Ireland got to the final. Now, again, I'm happy that didn't happen, but still, and with this as well, a lot of people have kind of been about the fact that it's Owell Farrell. I think for me, it's more the fact that it's a player who has a really bad tackle technique that people know about, and the fact that he has a history of this kind of thing as well and getting away with it too. Whether it's Owell Farrell or somebody else, I don't really care. And whether he plays for England or whoever, I don't care about that either. I just care about the fact that, rugby fans watching that game saw that was a red card, and everybody believed that, okay, we can all agree on that was definitely a red card. Now you're going into the World Cup thinking, well, what is a red card? What's worth a red card now? And you're talking about officials, you're talking about the bunker system, you're talking about player welfare as well, all being thrown under the bus by this committee right before World Cup, where you want all your ducks in a row with stuff like this going into the biggest tournament that happens every 4 years, where you're going to have plenty of non rugby fans tuning in, maybe people who normally would only watch soccer or cricket or whatever, tuning in just because it's the Rugby World Cup. And then, they're not going to understand when, a player isn't getting a red card for something that looks like a red card. It's not going to make any sense. And the fact that now that this new system that looked like it was I thought it was actually a good system. I had my doubts about it, honestly, when it came in first in the trial in the Rugby Championship. The main problem I had with it was that they were talking about the yellow being upgraded to a red that would last for 20 minutes. I didn't agree with that. I thought if you got a red, you're off for the rest of the game, whether that's 75 minutes or 5 minutes or wherever. It doesn't really matter. But then watching the system in the Rugby Championship, I thought it was really good. Seeing it in play as well here, where it actually did speed up play, and all the, a million angles looking at it in slow motion, etc. It was all done in the bunker, and we didn't have to watch it. The game just kept going on, and we could trust that then the decision that came back would be a more considered decision. I thought that was excellent. And now it's like, well, it's just been completely undermined by this. And not just that, but the officials themselves, and again, player welfare too, because now we're looking at like, where is the deterrent for players not to hit high if they know that if they get a good lawyer, they can actually get off, the charge. It won't be the same in every situation. Obviously, some things won't have any mitigation, but you know now that any kind of slightest hint of mitigation that could be there, lawyers are going to be looking at, and have like expert analysts coming in and just say, listen, find something that could have interfered at all. And whether that's like, a player who is, 5 or 10 meters away from the actual action, but their action moves some player over a bit or wherever, or something stupid like that could end up in mitigation. So I'm really not happy with the way that happened. I am happy, like I wasn't happy with the silence from World Rugby yesterday on this. Like, this committee is, as I understand it, is actually the Six Nations, panel that actually organizes Six Nations. This disciplinary committee are part of that, so that part of World Rugby per se, but still, whoever they answer to, I think it was a bad decision. And so I'm happy that World Rugby are appealing today. I don't know whether it was a case of World Rugby were getting, it takes time for the wheels to be in motion for an appeal to be kind of, put together. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was just a furore from the rugby community spurred them into action. I don't know which one it was, but I'm very happy that they are appealing it. Hope that on appeal that we do get a sensible decision on this. I honestly think that what will probably happen is that I thought initially if he was going to get a ban, people are talking about 6 games. I think it probably would have been 6 games reduced to 4. So we would have missed, next warm-up game and some of the pool games that would have been available before the knockout stages. And I think that would have been pretty fair. What's going to happen in this now, whether the appeal is going to pass or not, and what effect that's going to happen in terms of, actual sanction for Owell Farrell, and how long it's going to take for that appeal process to happen. I'm not too sure at the moment, but yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, give you my opinion on it, and also ask yours. What do you think about it? Like, not just to tackle the decision itself, the fact that, it looks like if you have a good lawyer now, you could potentially get off stuff as well. Do you agree with that kind of stuff? And then the whole appeal process, how do you think that's going to go too?